Let's get reaction now to our breaking news story. The Minister of Transport, Barbara Creecy, has dissolved the board of directors of the Road Accident Fund, or RAF. A statement issued by the department says this follows persistent governance and operational challenges at the RAF, which has undermined its ability to execute on its legislated mandate. For more on this, let's now welcome Miyelani Mkhabela, Chief Economist at Antswisa Transaction Advisory. Thank you so much for your time, Miyelani, and very good afternoon to you. So the dissolution of the board follows executive vacancies and months of operational breakdowns at RAF. So as we get your reaction on this development, how deeply does this speak to governance and operational challenges at the RAF? Last month it suspended two of its executives, Collins Lizwalo being one of them.
Okay, I'll start by speaking about the board, because the board is expected to look at the good governance and accountability of the institution. And I believe that the board has failed in its mandate, because when you look on a minor matter that they might have resolved internally and not cause complexities for the department, they couldn't really execute their duties with only that, which it is primarily that I can say the chairperson of the board and the members of and the other board members, they were not really equipped to be running such a board, because when you look in history or in the past probably 24 months, you will find that that board should have as well get to do critical things that could have assisted the transport department and the society that are beneficiaries in that, and including the service providers that are the legal firms. Probably legal firms and medical companies that are involved in RAF stakeholder management. That I can say the board has failed to do that. But while on the other side, I will probably feel the CEO should have been someone that is as well equipped and understand what probably might need to be executed as well in the board. So in my assessment, I will feel the CEO and the board are not really trained or at the level to be at the RAF board, because when you look on the complexities that were not there before them and the complexities that are there when they are there, it speaks to incompetence, and as such is not expected to directors, because they are expected to not only just execute the vision, but its sustainability and effectiveness in terms of executing its responsibilities in line with the stakeholders involved.
Yeah, in the statement, the Transport Department has requested to the National Treasury to appoint an accounting authority. How best will this move be in ensuring that there is no governance vacuum per se while the new board is being constituted, especially given that the RAF board failed, to fill these critical positions, one of chief claims officer and the other one of the head of legal central roles to service delivery?
I think as well where we need to improve, it can be in that government-related board and other municipal boards that are there in the country, is to identify capabilities from board members, because I think the challenge is boards that are linked with government institutions. You find that there is poor management, and then you find that immediately when the board has a challenge or there is incompetence from the board, then the operation of such an institution will be weaker as well. In many cases, you will find that it can be out of 8 board members, only 2 are competent, and the 8 will weigh in to the 2 that are competent, and the 2 that are competent, they will end up incompetent as well. And I think it is one thing that needs to be corrected, and we have already seen the department have taken a good decision, and at the same time, in the future, when municipalities and government department, whether it's in the province and national, they need to do well in identifying board members that are competent, because we have already we have a lot of candidates that can sit in boards, but I don't think the board that is in the RAF is really equipped to be in a board position. But at the same time, when you look on the maturity of the CEO of the RAF CEO, then you see things that are not going well from management and leadership point of view.
Yeah.
While the competition of both of them as the board and the CEO creates complexities that become costly for the department and the stakeholders involved. And I think it is something that if we cut this cancer now, in the short while, we probably could take RAF to be an institution that is effective again.
Miyelani, before I let you go, of course, there are a number of interventions that the minister has put aside and has noted in the statement, one of them being the appointment of an expert advisory committee. I mean, when you look at this, how important is it that, firstly, that it is transparent, one that the public will have access to in terms of its findings and recommendations?
I think they will release an advert and then they identify the candidates that could be competent. And I would say the assessment could lead into that. But in everything that we have seen, the board will be better than what is there. And then the board will then appoint the CEO afterwards. But the decision to take out this board and the CEO, it could be a rightful one for proper management or good governance and accountability, and making sure that there's sustainability. While we have, what I was indicating is we have enough candidates in the country that are competent, or we have people that have qualities to be in the board that can do better than that board.
And then also there's the department listing that it is awaiting the SIU's response on expanding Proclamation 44 of 2024. I mean, how important is it that this continues while in the interim there is this, this effort then to constitute a new board?
Or like the department will just have to receive, the directives and then the recommendation from the agency. And from there, they will probably include such as interventions and mechanisms in identifying the new board, and at the same time, making sure that there is an oversight that could make what has already happened doesn't happen in the near future. You will understand that this board is having a very huge responsibility from Department of Transport. And as well, there were a lot of interventions that have been put in the past. But the suffering of stakeholders, I will probably just indicate the legal firms that are stakeholders of RAF. They are struggling a lot because probably the operational level, which is the responsibility of the CEO, does not understand turnaround. They will probably need to do things that couldn't be done overnight and then expect everyone to adapt from that. But there are some transformational culture that the board and the operation, which is led by the CEO, probably might need to implement and not really disrupt the organization to be dysfunctional, but, make changes while the organization adapts to operate, but at the same time get to train the service providers. All that needs to be done at once and make sure that things are done well, and then probably the communiques that they will issue in the near future could probably direct the institutions towards effectiveness.
Miyelani, thank you so much for coming on such short notice and giving us that reaction. Really do appreciate it. Miyelani Mkhabela, Chief Economist at Antswisa's Transaction Advisory, of course, responding there to that breaking news story. The Transport Minister, Barbara Creecy, dissolving the board of directors of the Road Accident Fund. Of course, plenty to unpack on this one.